Hello everybody, and welcome to my 1 to 99 range guide. Today I'm going to be going over some of the more cost-effective ways to get 99 range, as well as some of the faster ways to get 99 range. All these methods are pretty up-to-date as of, 2018 now. This is going to be geared towards the average player, because that is me. I'm going to be going over training spots and when you should go there, the armor that you should be wearing and when you should get it, as well as some quests that you should do, and pretty much anything else involved in the ranging skill. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So to start off at level 1, there's not a whole lot of gear that you can actually wear. One thing that is very important and that you should really get before you start is an Amulet of Glory and a combat bracelet. These can be worn at any level and cost only about 30k each. However, they actually will add a ton to your ranging bonus. Because right now, while I could wear a Van Brace, which give me like 1 extra bonus, you only get +7 from the level 1 gear, which sucks. You really want to make sure you have a glory and a combat bracelet to begin with. Now as for the weapon, at level 1 there's a couple options. The more popular ones are arrows from a short bow, knives, as well as darts. And in my opinion, the best option is darts. Arrows, while they are reasonably cost effective, they take quite a bit longer to train up those first few levels. They're slower, and I feel like they're less accurate as well. Knives are good. I mean, they give you good bonuses, however, they are almost always more expensive than darts. If we have a look at the RuneScape wiki, a steel knife is the exact same as a mithril dart. The steel knife gives a range attack bonus of 8, has a strength bonus of 7, and a speed of 7. The mithril dart has the exact same thing, range attack bonus of 8, strength bonus of 7, and a speed of 7. However, the main difference here is the price. The steel dart is the exact same as the iron knife, however the steel dart is only 16 GP per shot and the iron knife is 53. Same thing with the mithril dart and the steel knife, 33 for mithril dart and 71 for steel knife. Now this pretty much holds true for every single knife and dart combination that you can think of. The dart is almost always going to be cheaper. Steel darts are very cost effective for level 1, or you can use mithril darts or whatever your bank is, but with a steel dart that brings your range attack bonus up to 29. So at level 1, it doesn't matter too much what you're fighting. As long as it's low level and has no defense, you're pretty much okay to fight it. However, I almost always kill chickens. It's just a very cathartic experience. It's just a classic and nostalgic monster to kill. So just come over here and kill some chickens from level 1 to 10 range. It's very easy. There's lots of them, and honestly, it's only going to take maybe 15 to 20 minutes to get your range from level 1 to 10. Now after level 10, you can just whip over here and kill some cows. They're very close, so it's very convenient, and they have more than twice the HP of the chicken, so it's definitely worth coming over here once you start one-shotting them pretty consistently. So around level 10, I would stay at cows till level 20. Now another good option at level 10 is these frogs in the Lumbridge Swamp. They're a little more few and far between, however they do have an HP level of 18, which is more than twice the amount of a cow. Plus they have very low defense and they really don't do a whole lot of damage. And you can stay here all the way to level 30 if you wanted. So between levels 20 and 40, there are a few gear upgrades you're going to want to know about. So level 20 you're going to want to at least upgrade to a studded body, studded chaps, and a coif. It's just an easy, nice range upgrade and a bit more defensive bonuses. Now keep in mind you will need level 20 defense to wear the studded body. Now at level 28 you're actually going to be able to wear the Dorgishin crossbow, which is a very cost effective way to train your range. It's going to give you a massive increase to your range attack bonus, and it fires these bone bolts and they're only 5 GP per shot, so it's very cheap. Now on top of that, once you reach level 30 range, you will be able to complete the Animal Magnetism quest, which I would recommend doing right away. While it's not a big deal for the bone bolts because they're so cost effective, for more expensive ammunition you're going to definitely want the effect of the accumulator, which if you don't know, it's going to pick up the majority of ammunition items that fall onto the ground and it'll put them right back in your inventory. So at first all you're going to get is the Ava's Attractor, but even that is going to give you a bonus to your range, which is awesome, and it's really one of the only items to do that in the range slot. However, once you get to level 50 or above, you're going to get the Ava's Accumulator, which is going to give you an extra 2 ranging bonus after that. And at level 30, you're going to get snakeskin armor, which is nice because for one, you get the snakeskin boots, and you don't really have an item that goes in the boot slot before that, as well as you can wear the snakeskin armor. I know it looks like shit, but just put it on anyway, who cares? Now I do know there is frog leather armor at level 25, but I find it's not really worth buying. A lot of the pieces actually don't really improve your range bonus at all. So for training, my favorite method between levels 20 and 40 really is just killing these chaos druids. The reason I like it is because you actually have a very high chance of getting herb drops, which actually gets you quite a bit of money. And personally, when I'm training, I like to be earning a little bit of money. It makes it a lot more interesting for me and just kind of keeps me motivated. Plus it does help fund your account. At lower levels you will need to bring little bits of food, and do be aware, because this is in the wilderness, and people do occasionally try to skull trick you here, which is pretty annoying, but it's pretty easily avoided if you just kind of right click on them or just honestly just look at what you're doing. So between the levels of 40 and 60, one of the easiest and the most AFK training spots is the ammonite crabs on Fossil Island. Now to get here you will actually have needed to complete the quest Bon Voyage. The requirements for that are relatively low, however you will need 100 kudos, which can be a bit of a pain to get. I would highly recommend getting them and being able to access Fossil Island because of the ammonite crabs. If you compare the ammonite crabs to sand crabs or rock crabs, which are another very popular training method, the ammonite crabs have 100 HP, while the sand crabs on Zaya have only 60 HP. Once you've done the first bit of the Fossil Island kind of mini quest line, you'll have access to this bank chest as well, if you ever run out of supplies or anything like that. So when you come here, usually they will be in the ground. However, sometimes if someone's been in that world, they'll kind of all be running around. But the good thing is that if you stand about right here, they will always aggro you right away. So you really can just AFK here for about 20 minutes, or maybe more, 15 to 20 minutes. And you just have to come back and run south and back north again to reset your aggro. Now at this point you're going to really want to consider bringing ranging potions. They're really not that expensive. They will increase your XP per hour pretty tremendously, so I would recommend bringing ranging potions at this point. Now as far as gear upgrades between levels 40 and 60, ones that you're obviously going to want to do is get the green dragon hide at level 40. You will need to complete the Dragon Slayer quest to do this, but really you should get that done anyway. The green dragon vambrace actually does have a +1 bonus over the combat bracelet, so you actually should swap it out at this point. On top of that, the Archer's Helm is a minor upgrade that you should do. To get it, you have to complete the Fremenic Trials quest. It's a bit of a long quest, however the requirements are fairly low for it, but range is not actually a requirement, so really you could get this at a very low level. Now as far as weapons, using the Dorgishan crossbow is very viable, pretty much all the way up to like level 50, 60 even. Now level 50 you will have access to the magic shortbow, but the Dorgishan crossbow is still a pretty viable training method. Even just straight up using darts is pretty good. If you upgrade to maybe adamant darts, the XP per hour is going to be pretty decent as well. And I know this seems a little boring, but honestly this is the easiest, really one of the quickest, and just extremely AFK way to get your range up. I mean, there's tons of other options. You can kill ogres in your castle wars, flesh crawlers in the stronghold security, kill green dragons if you want to, rock crabs, fire giants. I mean, there's tons of stuff. It's not extremely important when you train it at this point, but this is the easiest by far. And it's what I did pretty much all the way to level 70. Now level 50 you're going to want to make sure you upgrade to Blue Dragon Hide as well as the Ava's Accumulator, which is slightly different than the Ava's Attractor. You're going to get that +2 bonus over it, which is nice. So between the levels of 60 and 70 there are actually quite a lot of gear upgrades you may want to consider. So to start off here at level 60 you're definitely going to want to upgrade to Red D-Hide. It's very cheap, just go get it, there's no reason not to. And at level 61 you'll actually have access to the Rune Crossbow. Now when you compare the Rune Crossbow to an item like the Magic Shortbow, they're pretty similar. The Rune Crossbow is going to do better against monsters with higher defense, like dragons, like Ankus, anything that kind of has higher defensive bonuses. The Magic Shortbow will be a little bit better against monsters with lower defense. I personally like using the Rune Crossbow a little bit more, but that's just because I kind of like seeing the higher damage hits. Now at level 70 you can wear Black Dragon Hide, which will be one of the better pieces of equipment you can wear for quite a while, and it's very cost effective. So for a lot of your training you're going to want to just use Black D-Hide. There are upgrades of course, but they are quite a bit more expensive. Now you can upgrade to an Amulet of Fury, however it's not going to do very much for your range offensive bonus. It will give you a higher prayer bonus and a higher defensive bonus, so it's not really a priority. However, if you do have one you can get one, but way more important is to get an Archer's Ring. If you notice the Archer's Ring imbued, that's what I have right now, is giving me a +8 range bonus, which is quite a bit more important than any other upgrade. Even without it imbued, it's going to give you a +4 bonus, which is pretty good. To get the imbue, you do need to do Nightmare Zone a bit, which I'll cover a little bit later, but it really doesn't take that many points to imbue it. When you get a chance, I would recommend doing that. While Barrows gloves are important and they are definitely worth getting, as far as pure ranging bonus, they're not super vital to get right away. You can see our range bonus only goes up by 1 by wearing them over the Black D-Hide. For melee, they're a little bit more important. A very important upgrade that people oftentimes forget is actually the boot slot. At level 7 you can wear Blessed D-Hide boots. While they are like a mill for the Blessed D-Hide boots, they're going to give you a +4 upgrade over the snakeskin boots, which is actually very substantial, so I'd recommend doing that. Now as far as train spots between level 60 and 70, honestly Ammonite Crabs is what I did to level 70, and it's really still one of the better ways to train. However, if you get a little sick of that, you can come over here to the Ogres, which are just a bit east of Castle Wars, or Ankus, which are a pretty good training method as well, and will actually get you some drops and some of your money back. So between levels 70 and 75, it kind of just comes down to personal preference. There's a ton of viable methods to train, including pretty much all of the last 4 or 5 methods I've gone over. One thing you can consider doing at level 70 is starting to use Slayer as a viable training method. Personally, I really like Slayer. It adds variety to kind of dull training methods. What you're kind of looking for is tasks that you can easily cannon. Now, I haven't really talked about the Dwarf Cannon too much. It's a very useful tool for training pretty much from level 1. I didn't really mention it then because I was gearing this towards people who are maybe newer starting out and didn't have a ton of money to begin with here, but the cannon has to be one of the most powerful ways to increase your range XP per hour. So really the sooner you can start using it, the better. Places like Ogres, east of Castle Wars, you're really going to benefit from having the cannon, and it's really going to increase your XP per hour by maybe 50k per hour even. So I have been kind of hyping up the sand crabs and ammonite crabs a lot because it's AFK and easy to do. However, they don't really benefit from being able to be cannoned, so that's where other methods might come in handy. So for Slayer, I'd really highly recommend using a cannon. I started around level 70, although some people recommend to wait a little bit later. Tasks like Bloodvelds, Hellhounds, Fire Giants, Cow Fights, pretty much anything in Neve's Cave is excellent for cannoning and getting pretty solid range experience per hour. Now right now I'm using a rune crossbow with broad bolts. Broad bolts are an excellent option for those looking for cost-effective range training experience, because broad bolts are actually the exact same as adamant bolts. However, they're half as expensive, which is quite nice. Now, training Slayer between 70 and 75 is not the most ideal, but if you're looking for a break from just AFKing, it's a good option. Now, at level 75, you're going to get one of the most important upgrades, and that is the Toxic Blowpipe. Once you get the Blowpipe, I would highly recommend going and using it to train Slayer, because with the Blowpipe and the cannon combination, you can easily get over 100k range experience per hour. Which is quite good. On tasks like Bloodvelds and tasks like Fire Giants, I was getting upwards of 130k an hour. Plus you're getting the Slayer experience, which on tasks like this can be upwards of 30 or 40k Slayer experience an hour, which is excellent. And really, if you just get in the habit of cannoning and blowpiping all your tasks, you would get to level 99 range relatively quickly. However, don't expect to really make any money from it, because every task that you cannon and blowpipe, you're most likely going to be losing money on. So personally, this is my favorite method to train your range into the higher levels. However, there are a couple that are quicker. One of the last methods on the list here is AFK training through Nightmare Zone. Now this is very viable with range, but you're going to want to wait until you have a blowpipe for sure at level 75 range. Now there's a couple different methods to do this, but I'm not going to go over them in this video currently just because there's a lot to say about it. I personally prefer just using the prayer potion method where you don't use the absorptions, just because it's much more AFK. You only have to check every 3 or 4 minutes, and I just find it easier. Now as far as gear goes, you do want to maximize your prayer bonus, but I'm not worrying about that too much right now. You want to make sure at least you have the God Dehide, because that's going to give you a prayer bonus. If you want to save even more money, you can give yourself a +5 prayer boost with a God Miter. However, it's going to reduce your ranging bonus a bit. And yeah, the benefit here, it's very AFK. You need it to imbue a couple pieces of jewelry, and most importantly for range, the Archer Ring, but for other items as well. And really, you can do this all the way till 99 range. By doing this, you can get anywhere between 100 and 130k range experience an hour. Really depends on your range level. The benefit of using the prayer potion method is you are able to actually pray like an offensive prayer like Eagle Eye if you wanted to, and you can just waste more money that way. And the very last method that I want to briefly touch over, but I'm not going to really go in depth on, is chinning. Now this can be done really starting at level 80, and you can go all the way to 99 range with it. It is the fastest range training experience in the game, however it is notably quite a bit more expensive. So it really kind of comes down to what your bank is looking like. If you feel like you can afford to dump that money into training range. If you have Monkey Madness 1 completed, you can chin on Ape Atoll. If you have Monkey Madness 2, you can kill the Maniacal Monkeys for a bit of an increased XP per hour. Anyway guys, that is about it. I think I touched on everything I wanted to. I really enjoyed training my range up. It's one of my more favorite skills. It's very useful in the long run to have for bossing, Slayer, just overall gameplay, so it's definitely a good skill to get up eventually, and it's actually reasonably quick, especially if you have the money to fund it. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave it a like. I always appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.